Hello and welcome to a new video. I have just been working away on a project and then it occurred to me that maybe I should share what I'm doing so people can maybe try that for their area or do something with the data that I've been collecting, which I'm not able to do because I don't have the skills. So I thought I'd just share this just in case. So what I'm doing is kind of indirect mapping. You can see that there's a map there. It's generated by Wikidata Query Service. And what it does is show locations of townlands and parishes there on the Down Survey map. I presume that most of you are familiar with the Down Survey, which was conducted in the 17th century, and it has these kinds of maps here. And some of the spellings are very strange, which is partly because they're copies and people probably misread them, and some are just because, it's 17th century writing and they had different standards than we do have now. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out where it is to start with. So I'm working in the barony of Goran in County Kilkenny at the moment. You can see here, that would be roughly this area here somewhere. It's fairly blank. I've only added about 5 entries so far. And I'm trying to figure out what today's name is. Try to find it on OpenStreetMap. So what you have to bear in mind is that those maps in the Down Survey, up is not always north. That's what I'm trying to say. So here you can see, for example, that it's in fact the opposite. North is down. So you have to kind of rotate it in your mind once you have one of the townlands figured out, and then just work your way out from that one townland, for example. What you also have to bear in mind is that some of the townlands have been split since into upper and lower, usually. So you have to use the same name for 2 Wikidata entries. So, for example, let's say, I'm gonna regret this now. No, Kilmurray is easy. So I started with Columkill. That's the name of the parish anyway, which is just outside of Thomastown, east of Thomastown. It's spelled different now, obviously. So that was easy because I know where it is, and I knew the one below, which looks like it reads Williams or something, but it's actually Kiljames. But I knew where that is as well, so that was fairly easy. Jackstown is there as well. It's now spelled with CK, obviously. But Kilmurray, I know where it is as well. So it should be somewhere north of Columkill. So usually I try to find it on OpenStreetMap. So we have Columkill here, this area. And then we have Kiljames Lower and Kiljames Upper, which is all just Kiljames, just one townland at the time. So Kilmurray should be north of there, and it is there. Now Kilmurray is an example. I haven't looked this up before, but there is a good chance that there's more than one Kilmurray in Ireland. You can just search for it on Wikidata. Just chance your luck. And you want to go for the townland, and you can already see there's one in Limerick, Monaghan, Laois, Kerry, Limerick, Tipperary. So that's going to take a while to find. But what you can also do, and hopefully this will work, is you zoom in on the townland boundary on OpenStreetMap, and then you open your map layers there on the right side panel, and click on Map Data. Zoom in as much as you can before you do that. And then click on the townland boundary that does read Kilmurray or whatever your townland is. And then on the left-hand side, it opens a panel. And it might have a much longer list here. In this case, it's only the townland boundary between Kilmurray and Kiljames Upper. So they share this line. And you have to click on Kilmurray. And that, you better turn the map data off then. That opens the townland of Kilmurray here on the left-hand side, a new panel. And there you can find the Wikidata entry. So you can just click on that and it'll open a new tab with that Wikidata entry. I'll copy and paste it because I already have Wikidata open in a different tab here, which you probably can't see. Because I have cropped the extent of my page. But if you paste it then into the search, it'll bring you directly to that one because it's it's an identifier. And then you can click on that. You have to be logged in to edit anything. Well, you should be, just in case. Scroll down here, and you can already see it has two identifiers there, the loganim ID and the OpenStreetMap relation ID. They might not all of them have that, but you don't have to worry about that for the moment. If you're logged in, you can go to add statement, and then I'm using described by source, so you just start describe and it should pop up. Don't use describe at URL, use describe by source. Click on that, and then you type in down survey, this one. And what makes the name appear on this one here, if you're still following, is you add qualifier subject named as, okay, and then you very carefully read what's written there, follow the spelling exactly, however weird it might be. So double L, one R, K, Marie, and then important, add a reference, copy the URL that's at the top in the address bar, and under property type in URL, and that'll have URL location of resource or reference URL. Because we're adding a reference, we're choosing reference URL, and paste that and publish. Maybe make sure before you publish that you copy the spelling correctly, however wrong it might be. And then we can go to the Wikidata Query Service map and refresh the page. And hopefully, fingers crossed, there is a new one here now. Should be, lost my bearings now. No, that's Jackstown. Should be this one here. I would prefer if it drew the outline of the townland, but beggars can't be choosers. I didn't come up with this, with the code for this. Someone on Wiki on Mastodon helped me with that. Let me just check. I forgot their name. I thought I had thanked them. It's down here. Albin Larsson. That was the person. I have no idea who that is. I just shouted out on Mastodon and they came to my rescue, and it's very useful. So I will of course put this in the video description, the link to this one. There's other ways to have the data displayed, but the map is most useful, and you can already see the outline of County Kilkenny is coming along nicely. And it depends a bit on, not all parts of the down survey map survive, so your parish might by chance not survive if you want to do your parish, so just use the neighbouring one and just get over it, I guess. It is a pity. Kells, for example, I think for County Kilkenny does not survive. Oh, it's here. So I worked on this area here recently and I was trying to get Kells and it just won't show me. So sometimes that happens and you won't get as much detail. If anyone knows how to change the code to show the townland, that'd be great. If anyone knows how to make this into a little more user-friendly map, I'd be very grateful for that as well. As usual, I'm not doing this really with any specific use case in mind. I just think it's good to know that if I type in Kilmurray now, it should show it. Again, I haven't tried this because this is a very spontaneous recording. No script or anything. Kilmurray. Hopefully it'll still show it. Yes, it will. So it won't show it, like if I had typed Kilmurray like before, it'll give you all the options. But because the name from the down survey map is not in the main label box, I don't know if that's what it's called, but you know, it has all the labels and all the different languages here, but not for like dialect variations and stuff like that. But it is a name and it will find it. It will filter it out from here. So even if you just use the Wikidata search, you will find the ones that have been dealt with, like I'm doing with this one. And it will show you a map. Because it is all, you know, it's a community effort. Someone else did this. I'm sure that wasn't me. but I'm doing the down survey part. And if you have other sources, like for County Kilkenny, we have the Calendar of Ormond Deeds in 5 or 6 volumes. You could do the same spiel for that as well. It would be even more work. And the spellings could be even more different, which makes it more difficult to find, and also it doesn't come with the map. So that's next level detective work. But the down survey map, I think that's an interesting thing to do, and like, you don't have to do it for the rest of your life. Just do one parish at a time or one barony at a time until you get tired of it. But every little helps. So that's what I'm gonna do. And somehow midnight has managed to creep up on me again, so I better stop here. Just a few more remarks. What I have done now so if you look at this, for example, this is the parish of Rathcoole, which is where I used to live. I used to live in what is there called Cantwell's Garron. It's now Grove or Kramer's Grove, so I know the area fairly well. It only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 townlands in the parish. One of them is unprofitable. It isn't even named. I think it is, I can't remember, Knock something. But you can see on the outside it has the names of parishes and baronies, and it might be useful to copy those as well. What I've done now is, for example, for the parish of Kilmadum, which is no longer spelled with double L, I've added both names, the parish of Kilmadum and also Kilmadum, which I spelled wrong. Oh. Good thing I checked. Because some people might search for the parish of Kilmadum, and some people might just search for Kilmadum, so it's probably better to have both of them in the database. What's also useful is to look at rivers. I had a map earlier which didn't have a north arrow at all. It was very difficult. But sometimes they have rivers, or I think that's more of a stream, to help with the orientation. Sometimes it's very difficult to find today's equivalent of it. Don't despair. Just go on to the next parish, I guess, or the next barony. Unfortunately, with the barony of Goran, I chose the largest in Kilkenny as far as I'm aware, so I didn't get terribly far, but I did make some progress. I'm just going to show you. So around the parish of Powerstown, I did pretty well. These are the 4 or 5 that you just saw there. Rathcoole, parish of Rathcoole. And yeah, so I got a couple of parishes done. I didn't find all the townlands. Some have been merged into a larger one. Some have been completely renamed. There was one earlier in Powerstown, which is now Mount Loftus, which is named after a family, I think. And it had a completely different name back in the day. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so that's the house, Mount Loftus, but you can see there's also Drumroe Castle, and Drumroe is the old name of the townland. So sometimes it's useful to look out for the castle, especially since they are usually mapped on the down survey map. I'll have to go back for that. Oh, that's the Powerstown. It's quite large. Let me see if I can find it quickly. I didn't find all of these because the names have changed and there's just been some restructuring. I haven't found Glashmolin, Gary Hubbard, and I think another one. Drumroe, where are you? Oh, here. So here you see Drumroe, and there's a castle marked there, and that's the same castle as here. So sometimes that is helpful. I'm not saying it's easy. Maybe you have to have a bit of a feeling for linguistics and read the names out loud and be aware of what kinds of mistakes could be made by copying manuscripts. Like, when you have Gothic writing, which you wouldn't have by the time of the down survey map, I suppose. But if you have minims and it's just so difficult to know, is it an M, an N, an I and an N, a U and an N or something, that's quite a challenge. But, as I said, every little helps. And yeah, as I said, sometimes it's helpful to read them out loud to see maybe what could it be. and just start with one that you are familiar with, that you are confident about, like Paula hasn't changed, for example, and then just work your way around trying to find the next one, trying to match up today's spelling with whatever we're trying to do there. Gortine is still similar, and Powerstown, but some of them are just, what the hell are they thinking? But it's an interesting challenge, and if you refresh this page, you have a visualization of your progress, which is, I find, always motivating. But as I said, it is past midnight now, time for bed. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it interesting and maybe inspiring. Put your comments in the comment section, what you think it could be useful for, improvements, etc., etc. Or if you like it, just tell me that you like it. Also, hit the like button, the usual, share, and so on. Thanks again, and slán go fóill.